Many people feel uncomfortable when they think about mistakes. In our daily lives, we often try to avoid doing things wrong. From a young age, we learn that mistakes are bad, and that we should do everything perfectly. But this belief is not always true, and it can create a lot of stress in our hearts. When we make a mistake, sometimes we feel embarrassed or even ashamed. We might want to hide our mistake from others, or pretend it never happened. However, mistakes are a natural part of being human. No one can go through life without making them. Even the most successful people in the world have made many mistakes. If we look at our own lives, we can probably remember times when we failed or did something wrong. These moments may have made us sad, but they also taught us important lessons. If we only focus on avoiding mistakes, we can miss many chances to learn and grow. Our relationship with mistakes can affect how we see ourselves. If we always judge ourselves harshly when we make a mistake, we can start to feel that we are not good enough. We may lose confidence and become afraid to try new things. On the other hand, if we treat our mistakes with gentleness, we can find a new sense of freedom. We begin to see that making mistakes is not the end of the world. It is just another step on our journey. Instead of fighting against mistakes, we can try to accept them as a part of life. When we do this, we allow ourselves to relax a little. We start to understand that being human means being imperfect, and that is perfectly okay. Many of us are afraid of making mistakes, even when no one else is watching. This fear can become so strong that it stops us from trying new things or speaking honestly about how we feel. Where does this fear come from? Often, it begins when we are children. We might remember being corrected by teachers or parents, or being laughed at by other children. These memories stay with us, even as we grow older. They create a feeling that making a mistake means we are not good enough. Society also teaches us to avoid mistakes. In school, we are rewarded for right answers and sometimes punished for wrong ones. In the workplace, people may worry that a mistake will cost them their job or reputation. Even on social media, we see only the successes of others, not their struggles or errors. This makes it easy to believe that everyone else is perfect and that we must be perfect too. But this is not the truth. All human beings make mistakes, even if they do not show them to the world. The fear of mistakes often grows because we want to be accepted and loved. We think that if we do everything right, people will approve of us. If we fail, we fear being judged or rejected. This is a very natural feeling, but it can make life heavy and stressful. When we start to notice our fear of making mistakes, we can ask ourselves why it feels so strong. Sometimes we will find that the fear is not about the mistake itself, but about what others might think. Understanding this can help us see that mistakes do not have to control our lives. When we accept that everyone is imperfect, we can start to relax the grip of fear and live with more ease. When we make a mistake, our minds often begin to tell us stories. These stories can be very powerful. For example, after making a small mistake at work, we might think, "I am not good at my job," or "I always mess things up." Sometimes, we remember mistakes we made many years ago and still feel bad about them. These thoughts can play over and over in our heads, making us feel even worse. These stories are not just about what happened. They are about what we believe the mistake says about us as people. Instead of seeing the mistake as something we did, we think it is something we are. This can lead to feelings of shame or guilt. We might even start to believe that we do not deserve happiness or success because of our failures. It is important to notice when we are telling ourselves these kinds of stories. Many times, they are not true. They are just habits of thinking that we learned from our past. Everyone makes mistakes, but not everyone turns those mistakes into painful stories about themselves. we can learn to separate the mistake from our sense of self. Just because we did something wrong does not mean we are a bad person. Changing the stories we tell ourselves is not easy, but it is possible. We can start by simply noticing when our minds begin to create a negative story after a mistake. We can ask ourselves if this story is really true, or if it is just an old habit. Over time, we can learn to be more gentle with ourselves. We can remember that our value does not depend on being perfect. Our mistakes do not define us. They are simply moments that can help us grow. When we make a mistake, we often have a strong reaction inside. Sometimes we get angry with ourselves. Other times, we feel disappointed or even hopeless. These reactions can happen so quickly that we don't even notice them. But if we look closely, we can see that behind these reactions, there is usually some form of judgment. Judgment means deciding that something is good or bad, right or wrong. When we judge our own mistakes, we usually decide that they are bad and that we should have done better. This kind of thinking can become automatic. Even a small mistake, like forgetting to return a call, can lead to harsh thoughts. We might think, "I am so careless," or "Why can't I get anything right?" These judgments make us feel worse, and they add more pain to the original mistake. Sometimes, we also judge others in the same way. If someone else makes a mistake, we may think less of them or feel irritated. In the same way, we might worry that others are judging us for our mistakes. This cycle of judgment makes relationships more difficult and creates distance between people. It is important to recognize that judgment is just one way of reacting. We do not have to believe every judgment our minds create. When we notice judgment appearing, we can take a step back and see it for what it is, a thought, not a truth. This simple awareness can help us respond to our mistakes in a softer way. Instead of attacking ourselves, we can begin to understand why we reacted as we did. This understanding opens the door to greater peace with ourselves and with others. It is easy to be hard on ourselves when we notice our own imperfections. Many people try to hide their weaknesses, hoping that nobody will see them. We might try to act strong or pretend that we never make mistakes. But deep inside, we know that we are not perfect. Everyone has parts of themselves that they wish were different. This is a normal part of being human. One gentle way to notice our own imperfection is to look at ourselves with honesty, but without harshness. When we see a mistake or a weakness, we can simply recognize it just as it is. There is no need to cover it up or make excuses. At the same time, there is no need to punish ourselves for not being perfect. We can say to ourselves, "This is something I find difficult," or "This is an area where I still have room to grow." This approach is soft and open, rather than tight and closed. If we look at the people we love, we can see that their imperfections make them real. Nobody expects their friends or family to be perfect. In fact, sometimes our small weaknesses make us more relatable and human. We can try to offer the same gentle attitude to ourselves. This means giving ourselves space to be imperfect, just like everyone else. When we notice our imperfection in a gentle way, we take away some of the power it has over us. We can accept ourselves as we are without needing to be flawless. This does not mean giving up on growing or learning. It simply means that we can be kind to ourselves as we move forward. This gentle attitude can help us live with more peace and less fear of our own mistakes. Sometimes, when we remember mistakes from our past, we feel a heavy weight in our hearts. We might wish that we could go back and do things differently. Some people spend a lot of time fighting with their past, blaming themselves, or feeling regret for many years. But the past cannot be changed. No matter how hard we try, it is impossible to erase what has already happened. Instead of fighting with our past, we can choose to learn from it. Every mistake holds a lesson, even if it is a painful one. When we look at our past honestly, we can ask ourselves, what did I learn from this experience? Maybe we learned to be more careful or to listen more closely to others. Sometimes, a mistake shows us something important about what we value or how we want to live our lives. This way of looking at the past is not about ignoring pain or pretending that everything was good. It is about facing the truth with a gentle heart. We can admit that we made mistakes and at the same time recognize how much we have grown since then. Our past does not have to control us or define who we are. It can simply be a source of wisdom that helps guide us in the future. When we stop fighting with our past, we free up energy to live more fully in the present. We no longer carry the burden of regret or anger. We can see that making mistakes is part of the process of becoming wiser. By learning from our past, instead of fighting it, we create more space for peace and growth in our lives. It can be difficult to see anything good in a mistake when it first happens. Most people feel upset or disappointed, and sometimes we want to forget the mistake as quickly as possible. But if we look a little deeper, we can find that each mistake has a hidden gift inside. This gift is not always easy to see at first, but it is there if we are willing to look for it. Sometimes, a mistake helps us discover something important about ourselves. For example, if we forget an appointment with a friend, it might show us that we need to slow down and pay more attention to our schedule. If we make an error at work, it could teach us a better way to do something next time. Even painful mistakes can help us grow stronger or more patient. Mistakes can also help us become more understanding toward other people. When we know what it feels like to fail, we are less likely to judge others harshly. We realize that everyone struggles and everyone has hard days. This makes us more open and caring, both to ourselves and to those around us. The gift of a mistake is often a new chance to learn or to change. Instead of thinking, I failed, so I'm not good enough, we can think, this is difficult, but I can grow from it. This attitude turns mistakes into valuable teachers. Over time, we may even become grateful for some of our mistakes, because they showed us a new way to live. If we search for the gift in each mistake, we can live with more hope and less fear. We begin to see that every experience, even the difficult ones, can help us become the person we want to be. All living things, including people, make mistakes. This is a simple fact of life. From the moment we are born, we learn by trying, failing, and trying again. Babies fall many times before they can walk. Children make many mistakes as they learn to speak or read. Adults continue to make mistakes, even after many years of experience. It is not possible to avoid mistakes completely, no matter how careful we are. Accepting this truth can bring us a sense of relief. If we believe that we should never make a mistake, life can feel very stressful and exhausting. We may always worry about doing something wrong or disappointing others. But when we understand that mistakes are just a normal part of being alive, we can relax a little. We do not have to be perfect. We only have to do our best in each moment. Mistakes show us that we are learning and growing. They are signs that we are trying new things, taking risks, and moving forward in our lives. If we never made mistakes, it would mean that we are not challenging ourselves or exploring new paths. Making mistakes means that we are alive and that we are human. When we accept mistakes as natural, we can treat ourselves and others with more patience. We can also enjoy our lives more fully, without so much fear. We become more open to learning and less worried about being judged. This acceptance does not mean ignoring our errors, but rather facing them with an open heart. By welcoming mistakes as a normal part of life, we find more peace inside ourselves. We can live each day with a little more freedom and a lot less worry about being perfect. When we make a mistake, it is easy to be our own worst critic. Many people say things to themselves that they would never say to a friend. We might call ourselves foolish, or think that we are not good enough. These harsh words can hurt much more than the mistake itself. But there is another way. We can learn to treat ourselves with kindness, especially when we fail. Practicing kindness towards ourselves does not mean ignoring our mistakes or pretending they do not matter. It means talking to ourselves in a gentle and understanding way. If a close friend made a mistake, we would probably try to comfort them. We might say, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. You did your best." We can offer the same words to ourselves. Instead of being angry or disappointed, we can try to be patient and supportive. One way to practice kindness is to take a moment to breathe and notice how we feel after a mistake. We can remind ourselves that mistakes are normal and that we are not alone. If we start to hear harsh thoughts in our mind, we can gently choose different words. We might say, "I am learning, I will try again." This simple practice can help us heal and move forward, rather than getting stuck in guilt or shame. Over time, being kind to ourselves when we fail can make us stronger. We become less afraid of making mistakes because we know we will be treated with care, not criticism. This allows us to take new steps in life and to keep growing. In the end, kindness to ourselves is not only good for us, but it also helps us be more understanding towards others. When we care for ourselves, we are better able to care for the people around us. As we come to the end of this talk, I hope these words have offered you some comfort and understanding. Living with kindness toward our own mistakes is not always easy. It takes courage to face our failures gently and to accept our imperfections with an open heart. Yet by doing so, we give ourselves a great gift, a life with more peace and less worry. Every mistake is a part of your story, and each one has helped shape the person you are today. Remember, it is natural to make mistakes. They do not take away from your value or your goodness. What matters is how you treat yourself in those moments. With patience and gentleness, you can turn even your hardest times into opportunities for growth. When you allow yourself to learn from your mistakes without harsh judgment, you become stronger and more understanding, both towards yourself and others. Please know that I am truly grateful for everyone who spends time here, listening and sharing these moments together. Your support means so much, whether through a like, a comment, subscribing to this channel, or joining as a member, or sending a super thanks. Each of these gestures brings warmth and encouragement, not only to me, but also to our whole community. If this message has touched your heart, you are always welcome to share your thoughts below. It is a joy to read your comments and learn from your experiences as well. Thank you for being here, for your kindness, and for helping to create a place where we can all grow together. Wishing you peace and gentle days ahead, wherever you are.